All right, Im3 peeps, let's go ahead and do some of these problems. I'm gonna just do two today, not too bad. Hopefully you figure it out from the notes. So again, first thing we wanna understand is that we now have a 45, 45, 90 right triangle. And when we do that, we have to memorize some opposite side measures. So across from the 45 will always be 1. Across from the other 45 will always be 1. And across from the 90 will be radical 2. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set up a 45, 45, 90. So we have, again, I like to just draw it exactly like the problem. Here's 45, 45. Across from the 45 is 1. Across from this 45 is 1. And across from the 90, which is our hypotenuse, is going to be radical 2. Once you have that, we just set up proportions. So we want to match y with 1, x with radical 2, and then 8 with 1. Of all those matching sides, we want to start off with the side that just has numbers. So if you look, 8 matches with 1. So this is the first fraction I want to use. And I use my original over my new. So my fraction is going to be 8 over 1. Old over new. So 8 over 1. Again, this side matches this side, so 8 matches with 1. And then I'm going to set up a new fraction. And this fraction is going to have a variable. So I'm going to match, in this case, I want to match x. So x matches with radical 2. So it's original over new. So x over radical 2. And once we have this proportion set up, we could cross multiply to solve. So let's go 1x and then 8 times radical 2. So 1x, which is just x, equals to 8 radical 2. And this is going to be my value for x because there's nothing to simplify here. Okay, so it's 8 times radical 2. Now let's do the same thing, but we're going to set up a fraction for y. We want to use our original 8 over 1 here. Equals, and now we're going to set up the matching fraction for y. Old over new, so y over 1. Cross multiply, that's y equals 8. And we are done there. So that's how you do number 1. Let's jump into number 3. So let's draw our copy. There's 45, 45. So across from the 45 again is 1. Across from this 45 is also 1. And across from the 90 is radical 2. And let's set up our fractions. Again, we want to set up sides that have matching sides that have only numbers. So if you look, 6 radical 2 matches with radical 2 because they're on the same part of the triangle and they're both numbers. So old or original over new. So original over new equal to, now we get to choose. I'm going to choose x, so x is in the original triangle. Original over its matching, which is 1. So original over new. So x over 1. Cross multiply. That gives me radical 2 times x equals 6 radical 2. Now let's solve this equation. Since radical 2 is multiplying, I'm going to divide radical 2 to both sides. The radical 2's cancel. These radical 2's also cancel, so x is equal to 6. All right, so we solved for x. Now let's do the same thing for y. We're going to use, again, our same fraction that we started with the two numbers. 6 radical 2 over radical 2 equals, and now we're going to set up a fraction that has the y value. So y is original over new, so y matches with 1, so y over 1. Cross multiply. Radical 2 times y equals 6 radical 2. And then divide both sides by radical 2. These cancel. Y is equal to 6. Okay, hopefully that video helps you guys out. Have a good one.